Lost Innocence Residential School Story. I want to get rid of the Indian problem. Our objective is to continue until there is not a single Indian in Canada that has not been absorbed into the body politic, and there is no Indian question and no Indian department. The Minister of Indian Affairs, Honorable Duncan Campbell Scott. Canada was in its infancy. There was a national cry on unity amongst its settlers. There was no need for them to rely on First Nations for knowledge of the untamed lands. Industry had dominated the culture like it had so many regions of the globe, and there was no room in a new Canada for old ways. The Indian Act would be the government's solution to solve the Indian problem. The Act defined a people. It also provided a means for swift assimilation. The government was not satisfied with the minimal progress made by the Act. The culture and language would persevere. First Nations still had their identity, and the government had to give them a new identity. If the youth are the future, then the government had control over the kind of future the First Nations would have. They were promised a better life. And what parent doesn't want the best for their child? Who doesn't want their child to succeed in this brave new world? The children would be reshaped into the image that Canada wanted. There was no room for another nation of people in this Canada. They took away more than a culture and a nation. They took away generations of innocence. Two kids, brother and sister, are running through the fields, not a care in the world. They race through the tall grass into a wooded area. Umkwiswe, the brother, runs a little ahead. Maltales stops, looking around to see where her brother went. The game begins. The land can be an unforgiving place if you do not respect it. She walks gently, observing her surroundings. Umkwe is watching from a distance, peering from behind a tree. She notices a bent branch. She also sees light, fresh footprints in the ground. On the tree, she notices a small marking, what looks like waves representing water. She knows he's close. Umkwe peers out again, but doesn't see her. He steps out of hiding, wondering where she went. Mal sneaks up behind him and startles him. Oh, I knew you'd find me.
Sure you did. I'm getting better at figuring you out. Soon you'll be reading my signs.
They share a laugh, and Umkwe looks in the direction where they should be going. They are running along a stream. They come up to a pristine lake. Watch this, sis! Umkwiswe climbs up a tree that hangs over the water. He jumps off and makes a giant splash. She looks at the water, waiting for him to surface. Nothing. She begins to worry as she doesn't see any air bubbles come up. She leans over.
Umkwe?
She's getting more concerned. Her brother jumps out of the water and splashes water all over her. Right, gotcha!
Ah, you got me all wet, you dummy.
She's sitting on the ground with water dripping off her face. She gives him a dirty glare while he's treading water. Got you back! Just then, she begins to climb up the tree. Just be careful, Ma. Oh. She loses her grip and takes a little tumble, scraping her knee. Umkwe jumps out of the water and tends to his fallen sister. She's embracing her knee with tears running down her face. Are you okay? Let me take a look at it. Oh, it's just on the surface. Your brick brother will fix you up. You'll be okay. He looks around and grabs a leaf, takes a little bit of water from the lake and cleans the wound. There you go. Good as new. It's a good thing you got me around. He shoots her a wink. She smiles and gives him a hug.
Thanks, but you still got me wet.
She catches him off guard and pushes him in the water. Mal jumps in after him. They both emerge from the water, splashing, swimming, laughing, having a great time. Mal looks at the sun setting. Umkwe takes notice. It's getting late. Maybe we should head back. Need to help bring the wood in anyways.
Race you.
With your short legs? No problem. In their wet clothes, they proceed to run back to their cabin home. The kids come running through the bush to greet their father, who's been waiting for them. Mal runs to greet her father, only to freeze in her tracks when she notices an Indian agent just a few yards away. Umqui comes from behind her and takes notice of the agent as well. Gives him a cold glare. What's going on, father? Why is he here? The father takes Umqui and his sister. You know, times are changing. Everything is not as it used to be. I remember when we used to be able to dance and share our stories with others. It's getting harder for us to share our voice. I want you to learn what you can from these people and be able to share what you've learned with us so we can better understand them. They don't listen to us anymore. We need you to be our voice now. Their knowledge could help us all better this place. Education is important, and we can only teach you so much. Learn their ways of thinking, but never forget what we've taught you about this land. She will take care of you. They both nod to their father and proceed to walk out. Umqui! He turns back and sees that his father wants to talk to him in private. Son, you're strong in mind and spirit. I've heard stories about these places, and don't let them break your spirit. Be proud of who you are and where you come from. I want you to protect your sister. Do not let any harm come to her. This will protect both of you. Keep it with you at all times. He hands him a medicine bag. Umqui nods. They are both escorted into a 1929 Ford A Tudor sedan. The agent starts the car and looks back at the kids from the rearview mirror. Ever ridden in a car before? They both don't reply and look off to their home. The father stands there, fading away as the dust covers their view. Ah, you don't even know what I'm saying, do you? Don't worry, that school's going to help you get the red out of you. Umqui puts his arms around Maul. The residential school. The car pulls up to the schoolyard. The agent steps out to greet the priest. Got a couple more souls for you to save, Father. The priest looks at the kids in the car and smiles at them. They'll make a fine addition to the flock. This should help out for our quota for the year. Well, get them registered right away. I'll file the papers for any others you have to get the money rolling in. What about those extra teachers? Don't worry about it. He takes the kids into church for registration. Sister, can you please assist me in this matter? Their rags need to be thrown away and bring in some fresh garments. Maul holds on tight to her brother's hand. He doesn't like the cold feel of this place. The priest pours holy water on them, blesses them with the sign of the cross. I baptize you, David, in the name of the Holy Ghosts. And I baptize you, Mary, in the name of the Holy Ghosts. The nun writes down their new names on a form and gives the kids fresh linen and uniforms. In the dark and dank hallways, the nun separates the two. She struggles with Maul since she does not want to let go of her brother's hand, fearing she'll never see him again.
Let go of him! Boys are not allowed where you're going.
Don't leave me.
The nun is about to slap Maul's hand so that she'll release her brother's grasp. Umqui grabs the nun's hand, squeezing it tight, and gives her a deep look of disapproval. The nun grabs a stick and whacks his hand to release her. Umqui lunges at his sister to quickly whisper in her ear, Be strong, sister. Don't let them break your spirit. As the nun takes a swing to his other hand, Maul sweeps for her brother as the nun takes her away. The priest holds on to Umqui as the nun takes Maul away. Sister! Worry not, sister. I'll bring this one to his quarters. Fret not, child. You are in God's house now. The Lord will look after you and your sister now. The priest escorts him to his lodgings. It's a dark-lit corridor. The wood creaks with every step. The priest has his hand on Umqui's shoulder the whole time. The priest pulls out a huge key ring. He fingers through the keys and unlocks the door. The door creaks open. The light that enters the room reveals the 2 rows of bunk beds, one on each side of the wall. The kids are sleeping. David, you are bed number 27. Do not wake the others. We have a big day ahead of us tomorrow. Umqui slowly walks to the only vacant bed and assumes it's his. The door closes with a thud. Before he even gets to his bed, he hears the priest lock the door. The sun begins to creep over the horizon. The nun unlocks the door and wakes up the boys. Most of the kids rise before the door opens. They also know that they don't have much time to clean up before they head out for the day.
Rise, children. You all have 20 minutes to prepare before your chores.
The kids jump out of bed for fear of what the nun would do to them. Umkwi is still in bed. Peter notices Umkwi still between his sheets. He goes to wake him up. Hey, new kid, wake up. You want to get us all in trouble here? Umkwi wakes up, unaware of the time of day. Huh? Hey, come on. The sun's not even out yet. Trust me, you want to get out of bed now. This one here, she's really mean. You don't want her catching you sleeping in. Umkwi glances over to see the nun already picking on one kid.
You filthy little creature. You wet the bed again. You want to act like an animal? Maybe I should treat you like one. Clean up this mess at once.
The nun pushes the kid onto the wet bed.
Pick it up now, you dirty boy.
She looks up at everyone else.
What? Get in line now to do your chores.
All the kids line up. Umkwi looks in disbelief at what just happened. He glares at the nun. Blessed is he who serves the Lord. Kids are working in the field. Peter keeps close to Umkwi. Off the res for a day and you already forgot how to greet a friend. Name's Muin. What's yours? Umkwi saw. Oh yeah? So what did they name you? I think they called me David. Well, at least they didn't call you Joseph. You know how many we got named that already? Last I counted, it was 15. Ever confusing. I think you're the third David, so consider yourself lucky. Oh yeah, they called me Peter. It's like they ran out of ideas for names or something. Umkwi has a hunger pain. When do we get to eat? I'm so hungry. How do they expect us to do anything on an empty stomach? You get used to it. It's not like home. By the way, where are you from anyway? Umkwi looks around and gets a sense of where he is. He points with his lips to the east. Over there. Oh yeah? Then you must be close to the great river. Good salmon up there. Umkwi nods in agreement. Lord, we ask you to bless this offering you have given us. Well, this is nothing like the loose skin again, but it could be worse. At least it's fresh today. Umkwi is shifting through his oatmeal with his spoon. Peter takes a mouthful. Umkwi takes a spoon and forces it down. Is this some kind of joke? How can you eat this? I don't even think my dog would eat it. He would if it was the only thing to eat. You better finish it up, though. It's a long time before lunch. Umkwi forces more of the awful meal down. Each scoop he takes, he gets more focused. So what's on your mind anyway? Umkwi is silent. He looks around and only notices the boys in the mess hall. Yeah, you're not the only one forcing it down. Don't play dumb with me. What's up? I know the food is bad, but it doesn't make you mute. Where are all the girls? Girls, eh? Yeah, they don't stay with us. Nuns told us it wasn't God's will or something. Already looking for a sweetie? No. My sister. I need to see her. Oh yeah. I don't know what to tell you. We barely see girls around here, but we know they're here. We see them in passing sometimes. A nun rings a huge bell. The children are steered towards their classes like cattle. Like clockwork, the nuns send the kids off to their classes and check them off on a clipboard. Pete, I need to know where she is. If you get caught, just tell me where. Peter points with his lips to the direction Umkwi should be heading. Umkwi looks around and waits for the nun to check him off the clipboard. He makes a mad dash towards an empty hall. He peers over the corner of the hall to go to another wing of the school. He glances into a classroom to see the kids sitting at their desks, staring at a blackboard. No sign of Maul. He peers into another class and sees a nun smack a girl's hand with a stick. The kids are petrified. He flinches with every hit. He scans the room for Maul. He sees her staring at the girl getting disciplined. He wants to burst in and grab her, but holds back. Feeling powerless to communicate with his sister, he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a sharp-edged rock. He etches a little symbol into the side of the wall for Maul to discover, hopefully. He hears creaking steps. He finishes the coded message. He can hear the creaking footsteps getting closer. He sneaks off just as the nun turns the corner. Umqui hides against the wall. He peers across the corner to see it's the same nun that did the roll call. She's making her pass in the halls when she notices the marking.
You little beast, defacing the Lord's school.
Umqui sneaks away down the corridor and tries to make his way down a stairwell when he walks into a classroom door just open. The unsuspecting teacher looks down to see Umqui try and get back up.
Hold on to that, miscreant.
The teacher grabs Umqui until the nun reaches him. He tries to struggle free, but the teacher only tightens up her grip on him. The nun takes a hold of him.
We have special places for those who do not follow the Lord's ways.
Umqui is dragged by the arm past the boarding rooms to an isolated part of the boys' wing. The nun pulls out a key and unlocks a door. There is but a small window to let some light in, and a cross above a place to kneel, and a mat to sleep on. Umqui is tossed into the room.
Pray for the Lord's forgiveness, you evil little child.
The door closes and is locked. Umqui stares at the cross defiantly. Time passes and Umqui can only think of his sister, hoping that she got the message and hoping she is safe. His thoughts consume him. I've failed you, Father. I could not protect my sister. This place is not safe for any of us. They want to erase us. They tried to take my name away, but I will never let them. There is no room for us anymore. I've seen things you could not imagine. Images run through his mind of what might happen to his sister. He sees her with a blank look on her face.
Why couldn't you protect me?
He couldn't answer her. He beats his fist on the wall, and tears rush down his face. He looks at the cross. You can't have her. Umqui is now out of isolation.
Have you prayed for the Lord's forgiveness?
Umqui comes out stoic. He glares up at her and nods. He is escorted back to the sleeping quarters. He passes by the class where he left the symbol and notices another symbol under it, meaning his sister saw the message. He doesn't give away his reaction to the message. The next day at lunch, Peter seeks out Umqui. You're alive! You okay? I've been looking for you. Umqui stares outside to the clearing. Umqui, talk to me, bud. Umqui looks over to Peter. I have to get my sister out of here. Peter sees the determination in his eyes. Well, what have you got in mind? I'm in. It has to be before the first snow. That doesn't leave much. It has to be before the first snow. Yeah, okay. Peter looks around to see if anyone can see them. He sees the head priest at the head table with 3 nuns, but they're not paying any attention to them. So what's your bright idea? We leave during the night when the moon is full. The moon will give us the light we need. That's not... It's not for another 2 weeks. Umqui looks concerned. What's wrong? That doesn't sound too good. What? The cough? It's nothing. It was worse a couple of days ago. Feeling way better now. So you haven't said how we're going to get out of here. Well, we're going to have to wait till everyone is sleeping. And then sneak out of our room, get my sister, and get out of here. Peter shows his disbelief. That almost sounds too easy. Assuming we don't get caught. After what you did, they've got people working the hallways now. It'll work.
Students, collect your things. It's time for class.
The nun glares at Umqui as the students line up.
God may have forgiven you, but it doesn't mean we're not going to keep an extra eye on you.
See? The students are lined up against the wall waiting for the previous class to finish. Umqui checks to see if anyone notices him. He sees the nun staring at him. He pulls the rock out of his pocket without making much movement. Without looking at the wall, he draws a full circle with a line under it for his sister to hopefully see. The door to the classroom opens, and the room fills with kids. Night. The nun sends the boys to their room.
I heard you did well today, David. See what happens when you embrace the Lord?
Umqui gives a small smile and nods. Yes, sister. The nun shuts off the lights and leaves the room. Umqui waits a few moments until the nun is gone. Umqui peers out the window from his bed and sees the moon half full. There's not much time. Morning. The students are in line waiting to get into their class. Peter is doing his best to shelter Umqui from being discovered. Umqui stealthily etches a circle with 3 lines representing people next to it in an area close to the girls' section of the school. Peter is having a harder time holding back his coughs. Hey, you gotta you gotta hurry. She's coming this way. Umqui finishes and falls back in line. The nun looks at Peter.
What's the matter with you?
No, nothing, sister.
Just as well. At least wipe your nose. You look disgusting.
Peter wipes his nose with his sleeve as the nun walks back to the front of the line. Peter, you're getting worse. Nah, I'll have this beat in a couple of days. In class, Umqui is attentive. He follows along in class. Back in line outside the class, he glances over to where he made the markings, hoping to see a response. Nothing. Umqui is in the field, tilling the ground, only thinking about his sister. They are all lined up again, but nothing on the wall. At lunch, Umqui eats his food, breaks off a piece of bread, and sneaks it into his pocket. He looks at Pete, who can't control his coughing. Umqui is in class again, still attentive, but slightly worried about his sister. The sun sets before the final class. Back in line, Umqui finally sees a response next to his markings. At night, Umqui looks at the moon and sees it's 3/4 full. The next morning, the boys are all lined up again. Umqui tries to hold back his anger. He sees a marking left by its sister. It's a horizontal line, and next to it, a taller vertical line. He tries to hold back his tears. He etches a 3/4 circle with 3 lines next to it. What happened? Umqui, what's going on? We leave tonight. What? We leave tonight. Peter sees the drawing left behind and doesn't question any further. He holds his chest to hold back another cough. Yeah, okay. I never liked this place anyway. Umqui is angry but tries not to show his emotion in class. At lunch, Umqui rations his meals and puts the rest in his pockets. He encourages Peter to do the same. Peter's condition is worsening. At day's end, Umqui sees her reply on a wall. A square with 3 lines outside of it. The boys' sleeping quarters. It's past midnight and the sky is clear. He opens his eyes and looks at the door. No signs of light or activity, and makes his way to Peter. He gently shakes Peter. He looks lifeless, his breathing short. Pete, it's time. Pete. Umqui shakes him some more. Peter opens his eyes. His voice is raspy. Hey, I was having the best dream in a long time. Umqui tries to hold back his tears. It's time to go. Yeah, I know. I don't think I'll be going with you, though. You can make it. We'll get out of here and we'll get something to fix you up. This is as far as I can go. I don't have the energy. I'll just slow you down. No, you won't. We can do this. I'm so tired, Umqui. I can't make the journey. I just need to rest. Made things interesting, though. I'm going to miss you. I'm not leaving here without you. You don't have a you don't have a choice. Your sister needs you. This place has taken a lot away, but it hasn't taken you. Don't let it take her either. It's up to you to help everyone here. and you can't do it if you're here. Go. Peter closes his eyes. Umqui tries to hold back his tears. Umqui holds on to Peter's lifeless hand. He takes his medicine bag and places it in Peter's hand. Goodbye, friend. Umqui sneaks out of the room. He gingerly walks towards the girls' section. He approaches their wing and he hears heavy footsteps. He hides in the corner, hoping not to be seen. The priest walks past him and enters the girls' dorm. The door is not shut completely. Umqui has to wait a moment before he attempts to enter. He peers in and sees the priest's silhouette in the far corner hunched over a girl's bed. Umqui tries to find his sister. He creeps up to one bed, only to find a girl petrified with tears running down her cheek. Shh, it's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. Can you tell me where Montelez is? The terrified girl nods and points in her direction. It's fairly close to where the priest is. Montelez has her eyes tightly shut. She doesn't want the priest near her. She feels a hand over her mouth and her eyes widen. The hand is not an adult's, but her brother's. She looks over and sees him. He signals for her to be quiet. He gingerly helps her out of the bed and signals for her to take a blanket. Umqui directs her to where to go. He stays at her bedside to make sure it's safe. She knocks at bedpost. The priest is startled. I told you children to remain quiet, or there will be severe punishments for all. He lurches over the bed of his victim. Umqui can't take it any longer. He stands up and grips the bedposts. You've stolen enough from us. Umqui rams the bed into the priest, knocking him to the ground. Run, Ma! Don't look back! Just run! Umqui grabs her hand, and they rush out of the dorm room. They run down a corridor and a set of stairs. Umqui is trying to find a place to escape. Around the corner, they are guided by a stream of moonlight out a window. They run to the window where the moonlight is shining bright. The priest gets up from the assault. He locks the door of the girls' room and tries to catch up with the escapees.
I knew you'd come for me.
I couldn't let this place take your spirit. Umqui tries to open the window, but it's jammed. He tries to push it open. Maul can hear the shallow footsteps of the priest approaching.
Hurry, I hear someone coming.
Umqui cracks the window open, but there's only enough room for Maul to fit through. Okay, you go first. See those bushes over there? Run over and hide. I'll be right behind you. He helps her out the window and gives her a blanket and his rationed food. Stay warm. She makes it and waits for him. He's struggling to inch the window open. I told you to go hide.
I'm not leaving without you.
Umqui looks back and sees the silhouette of the priest. Think you can escape? No one escapes here until they're purified. Umqui raises the window a slight inch and tries to get out. Maul takes his hand and tries to help him out, but he's stuck. I can't get out. I'm stuck. You're going to have to go on without me.
I'm not leaving without you.
She continues to pull. Umqui gets jerked back. The priest grabs a hold of his foot. Get back in here, you wretched child. Maul, go.
No.
Umqui tries to kick his way free. He kicks the priest in the face, which knocks him out. Maul pulls with every ounce of strength and manages to pull Umqui out. They both fall to the ground. Maul helps her brother up. Thanks, sis. Lights turn on in the background.
Hurry.
They both rush off under the cover of night. The school is but a silhouette behind them in the night sky. They stop when they know the coast is clear.
Where do we go now?
Umqui looks up at the sky to get directions. He grabs her hand to lead the way. Home. The end.